Hello everyone, and welcome to Film Sandwich. I'm Kid Ron Burgundy.
And I'm Mark, the Blackmagic camera.
And on today's episode, we're going to be reviewing this camera, the Blackmagic Design Studio 4K Camera Pro.
Let's do it. Keep your eyes closed. Don't look at some of your eyes open. Because there's no right way or wrong way. There's just my way, which is the right way. Isn't that right?
Okay, so here we are. This is the Blackmagic Design Studio Camera 4K Pro.
And what's great about it, it's got a handle. Oh!
It's got two handles. It's got two handles. It's really
I can save it.
Great for a guy like this guy right here who just kind of throws things around. So Mark, you bought 3 of these cameras now. We did a episode before where we had some cobbled together studio camera setup. We rented one of these and we matched it against some of our studio cameras that we use, which are like 3 totally different cameras.
Very 3 totally different cameras.
So
yes.
So we decided to get just 3 of these cameras to have, everything looks the same across the board. And then, just tell me like why you decided to get these cameras, Mark.
So we run some studio shows on Thursday nights, live shows, Facebook Live and YouTube, like every week. And it all started as a joke with some of my friends, and now we just do it. And having the cameras, all different kinds, and we have the control room back there, and so you're always constantly tweaking the camera, like, hey, open up the aperture, close the aperture, the white balance is off, the gamma is off. There's always something that's off, trying to make one camera look like the other camera. And the tally light situation, we have another tally light situation, which is a wireless tally for the ATEM, which sometimes loses its mind. It loses connection, or literally the lights will switch and green becomes red, red becomes green. And so by looking at the Blackmagic camera, a couple years ago, year and a half ago, I did rent the predecessor to this one, and with all this light in the studio, it was noisy. Like it just didn't work. So I was like, well, I wanted to like that one, but I couldn't.
Was that the Plus?
Yeah, it was the one before this with the bigger screen.
I gotcha.
So it was a Studio 4K, and so now this came out, we rented it, and the 4/3, man, it's a great look. It's a great studio look. Now you all know, if you've been following the channel, that I know the color space of this Blackmagic is in the brown world to me, but if they're all shooting and you can color correct it and get it all looking really nice, it's not gonna matter because they're all 3 cameras match. And it has a good look, so they've come a long way with their color science, I feel, that Blackmagic has. And people make fun, it's a still lens, autofocus. What I do, it's people talking about a cool subject, right? So I don't need to have quick autofocus in the studio. I don't need any of that stuff. I just need, affordable, good image quality that can just sit and get talky faces. And if we want to do a pan tilt, we can. The other big thing is this tally light. It's so important. You don't think having a big one is important, but it's so important when you have a host and you have guests and they want to talk to a camera or know what's going on. The green one's coming up, they know what to look at. It's one of those things where everybody takes one for granted for 2 people, the host and the talent, but also for the camera operator. So you don't even need comms. I mean, if it's red, and our camera operator is a very easy instruction. Do not move the camera when the tally light is red. Only move on green. Problem solved. So all of a sudden, you're never gonna have an issue, we hope. And so just that simple stuff really allows you to have a nice studio show, so you can push out the image, you can paint all the cameras from the control, you have the tally light aspect of it. And the Pro version has the XLRs on the side, has SDI in and out, so you can actually see the program, has 10 gig Ethernet, which they're gonna have a box where it'd be power the whole thing on with one Ethernet. We don't have that studio box yet, but right now, is there a solution for my studio? Absolutely.
All right, so let's kind of go into this a little bit here. So you can record, you can't record internally to this. You actually have to have an external hard drive that connects USB-C style. We're actually recording on one of the Blackmagics, and you can only record in Blackmagic RAW. There's no H.264, 265 ProRes, or any of that. You can only record Blackmagic RAW, but you have a few flavors of that. You can do a few like bit rates or compression rates and stuff like that. It does have a 5-pin connector where you can plug it into the camera directly, and through your Blackmagic ecosystem, if you have the Blackmagic switchers.
Absolutely, yeah.
The director can talk to the person without having to run a whole nother wire.
Yeah, and it also has, it has 2 controls for, zoom and focus, and the USB-C here and loop out for that as well, for those kind of controllers. It's got rails that you can actually put teleprompter on as well, which I'm going to configure that as well. And it has all the controls on the back. So it is made for one job, and that is a studio camera.
And it's got a nice 7-inch screen.
Yeah,
too, right?
7-inch screen, comes with a sun visor and stuff, and it's slightly angled like this. And I think really when you have to say, hey, well, where else are you gonna get 3 studio cameras for $1,700 each?
Right.
So when you have a 3-camera environment, being able to have the tally light, which is big and huge, and you have to put numbers there as you want. Really easy to assign the camera position for these. You assign what camera you want to be what button on the switcher. So the ecosystem, it's come a long way on the Blackmagic. I think there's a lot of different places, for sure, churches and anybody doing live studio shoots and podcasts. These cameras are going to just rock. They do make a cheaper one that's just HDMI only and not SDI.
Yeah, this one has the SDI. It has an in and an out. So tell me what that does.
So the 2 SDIs, the one is camera feed back to control. The other one is also program out to camera as well as camera control. And tally control.
What does that do for the person when they can get the program feed into the camera?
So when you have the program feed, you can know exactly who's on, and especially if you have a lot of graphics. So if you were going to do a window, a picture, and you got to follow some guy on stage or frame somebody up, you can frame left or right. You can just hit the program button and know exactly how to frame it, which is kind of nice. Or once you are a live camera, you know where you need to be compositionally wise to take that shot. And also they travel really small, and you take the lenses off, you can have 4 cameras in a flight case, which is great. And then the lenses as well. So for the price point and all of it, the ecosystem, the Blackmagic camera, especially when you think about, stepping up to 4/3 chip, I think it's really important to talk about that for a second. There's other cameras out there, and I can tell you, this is not the best camera for every single live event. Like, you would be hard pressed to do sports on, but for that micro 4/3, real clean look, talkie head, corporate kind of environment, I think they're great, and that's why we chose these for the studio. You get so much
right.
more
So
for $5 more bucks.
So you can control everything on the touch screen, but it also has some regular analog controls here as well.
It's 10 gig Ethernet, right? So Blackmagic makes a studio converter, and that will be able to do it all, kind of like SMPTE fiber. So if you know about big broadcast cameras, they carry one wire, they jack it into a 2/3 inch broadcast ENG camera, and you have tally, you have audio, you have talkback, you have function, you have picture, you have CCU. So basically what Blackmagic has done has put all those components into a gigabyte Ethernet line and a studio converter. They're just now being released, so you can get one about $800 for that. And it'll be interesting because now you only have to run one cable, like literally one cable, and you're up and running, which is kind of cool.
And you do have the ability to import 3D LUTs into it as well?
Yep, 3D LUTs, so you can give it a look if you want. And every one of these cameras can shoot RAW. The other cool thing is you can, from your actual ATEM, you can press record. It not only will initiate all the cameras to record, which is kind of nice too. Maybe we'll do a 6-month review once we have them for 6 months. Come back and review them. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna put this footage of our episode here for just raw footage for you to play around with. We're gonna post it right in the description below. So go ahead and download that for yourself and mess around with it.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up, honestly.
Until then, let's go ahead and say that Blackmagic did not sponsor this at all. These are our own opinions. Nobody gave us any money. In fact, we paid money to make this.
Yeah.
So that being said, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Until then, I'm Kid Ron Burgundy.
And I'm Mark. See ya. Keep your eyes closed. Don't look at some of your eyes open. Because there's no right way or wrong way. There's just my way, which is the right way. Isn't that right?